it understandably would be an issue of concern if for not just our European allies and partners, but certainly for Ukraine, if Mr. Putin is misinformed or uninformed about what's going on inside Ukraine. It's his military. It's his war. He chose it. And so the fact that he may not have all the context, that he may not fully understand the degree to which his forces are failing in Ukraine, that's a little discomforting.
One of the Achilles heels of autocracies is that you don't have people in those systems who speak truth to power or who have the ability to speak truth to power. And I think that is something that we're seeing in Russia.
All right, joining us now, distinguished fellow and president emerita at the Wilson Center, former Congresswoman Jane Harman of California, and Mark Polymeropoulos. He's a 26-year veteran of the CIA, serving in both Iraq and Afghanistan, and is one of the agency's most decorated field officers.
So thank you all both for being with us. Mark, here, actually, I'm so glad you're here today for so many reasons, but you're perfect with your background to explain exactly what not only the U.S. intel agencies are doing, but also what the Brits are doing. Sort of a PSYOPs operation, except the PSYOPs comes in the form of the truth. And you've got the Secretary of State sort of tisking, oh, it's too bad, you know, they're lying to Putin. We have guys inside that have been telling us stuff from the very beginning. They're lying, and then, you know, he's in Algiers doing that. And then you've got the Pentagon spokesman, what an insult, going, well, yeah, you know, unfortunately, it's dangerous because everybody around Vladimir Putin, they're lying to him because they're afraid to tell him the truth. He doesn't even know, and goes on about all the... So explain what's going on here.
So this is a classic information operation, and remember, this is something that we do very well. You know, when you walk into CIA headquarters, on the left there's a biblical verse that says, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." So this is promulgating the truth, and that's really important because that is going to be our kind of key superpower. Ultimately, this is a coordinated campaign, through the National Security Council and obviously with our allies. But I think it's done for two reasons. One is to get into Putin's head. There's no doubt about that. It's to sow dissension within his security elite, which is the foundation of his regime. But number two, and I think we've talked a lot in this show about off ramps, and I think, Joe, that's something I'm not really in favor of, because a lot of us think it has to do with appeasement. But what an off ramp this would be, that we're serving Putin on a silver platter, because he can then say to the Russian people, look, my military and my intelligence services have deceived me. So I think that is a goal of this PSYOP, or this information operation. I don't know if it's going to work, but it really is brilliant. At the end of the day, how we're using these authorized, it's not a leak, these are authorized disclosures. It's really revolutionary.
So, Mark, to the extent you're able to talk about it on national television, just broadly, what exactly do you suspect the CIA and other international intelligence agencies are doing to get this close to Vladimir Putin? How does it work?
Sure. So dissemination mechanisms are varied. So it can be sending this in through VPNs. Obviously Russia has kind of closed down. It's sending it in to Russian officials posted overseas, and of course to just openly into the media, like they're doing as well, because we know the Russian government does follow this. But remember, the truth at the end of the day is going to win out, and this kind of sustained campaign is going to get through. Russia is not like North Korea yet. We still can get information in. But this is really important, and at the end of the day, this is going to drive Putin crazy. If he was watching this program right now, even as we're trolling him about his goggles, it would drive him nuts.
Hey, Jane, you can mention the goggles if you want, but I want to just get you to weigh in here and take it from the 30,000-foot view. In terms of, it seems like this intelligence pressure is just the next piece of the puzzle that the West is trying to put on Putin here, where we're seeing the Ukrainian forces have real success pushing back the Russian aggression. We know about the economic sanctions. Now we're hearing about the intelligence pressure. It seems like it's a pretty carefully orchestrated plan to undermine the confidence that Putin has in his military, but also the Russians and the Russian elites have in Putin.
Well, let me weigh in on the glasses first. I remember that Joe Biden gave a pair of his signature aviators to Putin. I think Putin had a bad glasses day.
Should've worn those.
lost them. That would have been sweet. But back to this, you bet, that's exactly what we're doing. But we have seen a bad movie in the United States, to be fair. Let's remember the intel on the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. We learned later that Saddam Hussein was deceived by his own intelligence and military folks. Ooh, surprise. Who told him that he had weapons of mass destruction because they were afraid he'd murder them if it came out that they didn't. Then our intelligence agencies at the time, and Vice President Cheney at the time, I wrote a book about this, decided to use this issue of WMD as a hook to get many of us, including me, to believe that Russia had weapons of mass destruction and intended to attack us. That was bad intel. We reformed how we do that. We set up the Director of National Intelligence on an overwhelmingly bipartisan basis, just imagine, in 2004. And we have good intel now, and we're using it brilliantly. I don't know who made the decision to put our intel out. We have seldom done this. But not only is it good intel, but putting it out, yes, is frying Putin's mind, I believe. But also, I'm just guessing that a lot of the money that he thought was being spent on military modernization has bought all those yachts that his plutocrats have. And so not only was he misled about the facts, but he was misled about where the money that he thought was going to modernization and state-of-the-art stuff was going.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.